Today we're going to learn how to engrave metal bracelet blanks to make cuff style bracelets using the Silhouette Curio Etching and Stippling Tool in your Silhouette Cameo. This is the type of bracelets that we're going to be making. This is one that I made my daughter with her name and an image of a horse on both sides of her name. Please excuse the flash from the camera onto the bracelet, but I wanted to show you what we would be making today. This is an up-close image of the etching on the bracelet. The Etching and Stippling Tool for the Curio does a fantastic job in your Silhouette Cameo. Now let's go ahead and go to our supplies list. For this tutorial, you're going to need the Silhouette Etching and Stippling Tool. The Silhouette Etching and Stippling Tool is actually made for the Curio. However, it does fit in your Silhouette Cameo. Please do not confuse this with the Comus Creations Engraving Tool. The Comus Creations Engraving Tool will work for these bracelet blanks. However, I will be doing a revision video to show you how to adjust your Comus Creations Engraving Tool in your machine if you own a Cameo 3. Your engraving tool will need some adjustments before you can properly engrave with it in the Silhouette Cameo 3. For this tutorial, you will also need your Silhouette Cameo, any version, cutting mat, contact paper, X-Acto knife, double-sided tape, aluminum bracelet blanks. I use Impress Art bracelet blanks, Impress Art bracelet bender, fingernail file, fingernail buffing block, and shoe polish shine cloth or any polishing shine cloth will work. This is what the Etching and Stippling Tool for the Curio looks like. The tool, as I stated a couple of times before, it is intended for the Silhouette Curio. Silhouette America has not released an etching tool for the Silhouette Cameo. However, the Etching and Stippling Tool for the Curio does fit in your Silhouette Cameo and can be used for etching. I am going to show you that today. The Silhouette Curio Etching and Stippling Tool does your etching, and it is more than half the price of the Comus Creations Engraving Tool, and it does the same exact thing. If you look in the description box below, you will find a download link for a free bracelet blank engraving template. I've made this template for you if you decide to engrave on bracelet blanks. As I stated before, I use Impress Art bracelet blanks, and based on most companies that offer bracelet blanks, I have the top 5 most popular sizes made for you here in this template. There are different shapes and sizes. There are square, there are oblong, there are oval. Based on popularity, this is the most common shape. I get my Impress Art bracelet blanks from Hobby Lobby. You can order them online and at other craft stores. When you download and open up your bracelet blank template, this is what you will see. On the left-hand side, I just have a little disclaimer and some little tips and reminders for you. And then you have your bracelet template itself on your cutting mat. Today, we're going to be using the 5/8 inch by 6 inches. So what we need to do is we need to click on the wording, and we need to move that out of the way. Okay, now we need to select the bracelet templates that we do not need. So I'm going to start by selecting the first 2, hold down the Shift key, and select the bottom 2. And then I'm going to move those out of the way. So now I'm just left with a 5/8 inch by 6 inch bracelet blank. Okay, now it is time for me to determine where I want my bracelet blank to be. When you go to engrave on your bracelet, wherever you put your bracelet blank, don't do anything from 1 to 5 because I like to avoid the rollers with the metal springs on them. So I tend to stay anywhere from 6 across to 12, and then 1 down to 12. In this video, I will not be covering how to place your blanks, meaning if you need to know how to place your metal blanks for engraving, I will link that video that I've already done in an iCard, and I will also put a link to it in the description box below so that you can go and watch that video or get a refresher. I use contact paper for stability on my mat, paper side up, and then I cut out my template, only the paper part of the contact paper, and then I put double-sided tape on the back of my metal blank and then place my blank on that part of the template that had cut out of the paper. Like I pull up the paper after it's been cut, double-sided tape on the back of the blank, set the blank in the part where the paper had been cut out, and then I'm ready to engrave. Now I'm going to go ahead and determine where I'm going to put my blank. So I know I've already got my contact paper set on my mat, and it is at 2 to 5 down and from 6 to 12 across. So I am going to go ahead and place my bracelet about here. Okay, so now I need to come up with my design, which I have, for tutorial purposes, I've already designed what I want to go in it. If you need a refresher on how to fill in your text or any of your designs for your engraving, I will link those videos in the description box below and also in an iCard for you to watch. Okay, so I already have my designs here. I'm going to do the name and I'm going to do an image. Now my image, I'm going to have an image on both sides of the text. However, I'm going to duplicate this image once I get it resized when I bring it over to my template. A tip that I will give is whenever you are designing and filling in your text and your images, first tip with your text is if you're using script, make sure that you weld, then make a compound path, then go ahead and fill your design. Always keep your text large during your fill-in process. Then you can always size down smaller. Do not size down smaller than fill in. That will make it much harder to get a great fill in when you engrave. Same with your images. Make sure your images are larger, fill in, then you can resize smaller after they are filled in so that you get a full fill in and no gaps when you are engraving. I'm going to go ahead and select my design. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy. I'm going to come back over to my template. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste that design onto my mat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull it down smaller so that it's on my mat. And I already know that both of my designs need to be smaller. So I'm going to start with the name. I'm going to start with the name, so I'm going to make sure that it's a bit smaller. Pull it up to my bracelet blank. Zoom in if you need to. Make sure that if you're doing any type of wording, that you do not leave your wording on the edge of your bracelet, because it will look very sloppy and make it look like it is cut off. Leave some type of gap in between your wording and the bracelet, bottom and top, so that it looks clean and professional. Now I'm going to go ahead with my image and I'm going to resize it, pull it into my bracelet blank and place it where I believe I want it. I'll resize and adjust as needed. And always remember, if you're doing the cuff style bracelets, unless it is the look that you're wanting to go for, do not let your designs go all the way to the end of your bracelet, because no one is going to see it. Unless if it isn't a look that you are wanting to achieve, then go ahead and do that. Okay, once I had the image like I want it, I'm going to right click, duplicate, and even though it's the same on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and flip horizontally. So I just make that as I have it, even if the images are the same. Now once you have your design exactly like you want it, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to select all of your image, and then you're going to go to your send. The only time that you will use a cutting blade during the engraving process is to cut out the paper on your contact paper. This will cut out the paper part of your template shape. We will do this before you start your engraving. Cameo 1 and 2 users, make sure that you have a ratchet blade in your Cameo. Cameo 3 users, if you are using an auto blade in tool 1 or a ratchet blade in tool 1, go ahead and make sure that it is inserted and ready to go. On your mat, everyone make sure that with your design, make sure that everything is selected at no cut except for your template outline. The only thing that should be highlighted at this point is your bracelet outline. So if you are to select your design in your text, it should not show cut lines at all, but your bracelet template should show a cut line. The settings that I use just to cut the paper is just what I would use to cut vinyl, or whatever cut settings that I have ready to go is what I normally do. Cut settings that I'm going to use today is vinyl glossy. Action is going to be to cut. My tool is going to be auto blade. I have my bracelet template set to cut. Blade on 1, speed on 3, force on 6. Force is also called thickness for those of you that have not upgraded your software. And pass on 1. We're just making a thin cut on the paper of the contact paper. We are not trying to cut through the sticky plastic on the contact paper. Once you have all of that set, go ahead and send that through to cut your paper layer of your template. I will insert a video of me cutting mine now. Now you will remove the paper strip that has been cut from your contact paper to reveal your template. Use tweezers or an X-Acto knife. Come back to your software and you are going to choose no cut for your bracelet template. It should still be selected on your virtual mat. Go ahead and choose no cut. If it is not selected any longer, make sure you select it and choose no cut so that there are no cut lines turned on for your template. Cameo 3 users, once you choose no cut on Tool 1 for your template, go ahead and shut Tool 1 window completely. We are done. Cameo 3 users, go ahead and remove any blade that you have in your Tool 1 part of your blade housing. Cameo 3 users, it is very important to remove any blade that you have in Tool 1 during your engraving process. If you do not remove your blade as your tool engraves onto your metal, it will cause your blade to engrave a ghost image of what you're engraving, and it will scratch your metal pieces. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to come back to your virtual mat, and you're only going to select your design that you're wanting to engrave. Make sure that you do not select your bracelet template. In my case, I only need the 2 crosses and I need the name with a cut line on it. Cameo 1 and 2 users, you will simply go to your cut window and you will choose cut. Cameo 3 users, this will be for your tool 2. You will go ahead, after your designs are chosen, you will choose cut as well. This should turn your designs blue, meaning that your cut lines have been turned on. Cameo 1 and 2 users, your cut lines will be red. Now, with your Silhouette Etching and Stippling Tool, what you will do, everyone will take out any blades that you have in your Cameo. Cameo 3 users, you will be using Tool 2 to insert your Etching and Stippling Tool into. Cameo 1 and 2 users, you only have 1 blade housing, so obviously that is where your etching tool will go. You will unlock it, slide in your tool. This is for all Cameo users. Open up your blade housing, remove any blades that you have, insert your etching and stippling tool. It should fit all the way down. You should not have any gap between the tool and the lip of the tool. It should fit in there flush. So make sure there is no gap. You should be able to just slide it right down in there. Once it is completely pushed down, lock it into place as if you would a blade, and you're ready to go. Come back, make sure your cut lines are turned on. It is very important. For your material, we are going to choose chipboard. For your action, we are going to choose sketch. For your tool, it should have automatically changed to sketch pen. If not, make sure that it shows sketch pen. And since we already had the design selected to cut, it should automatically change it to sketch. If it did not, please make sure that your design has been changed to sketch. If everything looks correct, your design should have cut lines. Cameo 1 and 2 users, your design should be lit up with red cut lines. Cameo 3 users, you're using Tool 2 for the etching So your cut line should be blue. Now our speed is going to be 6. Our force or thickness is 33. And we're going to do 2 passes. If you have the ability to save this setting and you plan to do more etching, I would save this setting and change the name to Engraving. Once you have that ready to go, now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and prepare your bracelet blank. At this time, you will take your bracelet blank. You will see on both sides of your bracelet blank, you will see a thin blue film. It is a protective film that keeps the metal from being scratched. Decide which side you want to etch your design on and remove the film from that side. So that will be the top of your bracelet. Turn it over to what will be the back. The back is what has the remaining protective film on it. And this is where you will put a line of double-sided tape on. Go ahead and lay your double-sided tape on the back of your bracelet. And then you will go ahead and place your bracelet blank on your mat in the template that you cut out previously. Your bracelet blank should fit perfectly in your template that you cut out. Make sure once you place it, you run your finger from one side to the other and press down firmly to be sure that your bracelet blank lays flush with your mat and there should not be any gaps between the mat or the bracelet blank. Once you have that completed, then you can come back to your screen and press send. You're ready to engrave. I will insert a small video clip here of this bracelet engraving, and I will meet you back at the craft table for the rest of the process in making the bracelets. Okay, so now your design has finished engraving. You've pulled your mat out of your machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the blank from the mat. Hold down your double-sided tape and just remove your blank. If the double-sided tape comes up with it, that's fine, because you can just remove it if need be. Okay? Just remove your blank. Move your mat to the side. Okay? Normally, you would still have the blue thin film on the back of your bracelet blank, and you would not remove it until after you bent it into the cuff. I've already removed this one because this was a sample piece that is partially engraved, so it's already removed and there's some tape residue. So anyhow, you have your bracelet blank. Alright, so if you move your finger across your engraving, you'll feel that it's sort of rough. If you like that feeling and you don't think that your customers will mind, you can leave it like that, and then your bracelet blank is ready to be bent into a bracelet. Okay, well, I don't leave it like that. So what I do is I have these fingernail buffing blocks that I keep on hand. I also have this one is called a 7-way buffer, and this is what this one looks like. It has seven different options here to choose from. Okay, so you can pick these up at Walmart for a couple of dollars. Either one is just fine. If you have regular jewelry file or buffer, use that. That is perfectly fine. I'm just showing you the cheaper option, what works and what works well. This serves the same purpose as this. This one just has a couple more files on it. That is the only difference in the 7-way and the buffing block. To remove the roughness from your engraving, you're going to take your buffing block and you will want to go on the part on each one of your buffing, if you're using the 7-way or if you're using the buffing block, it has wording on it to tell you what each one is for, okay? Now, on this one, we are going to go on the side that says, right here on the green part, it says side 5 smooth nail. We're going to use this to remove the roughness from the design. We're just going to rub across it a couple of times. Then you're going to feel your design. It is no longer rough. We did not scratch the metal. We didn't do anything except remove the rough edges from the blank. Once you do that and you're satisfied with the look of your engraving and there's nothing else you want to do to it, it'll be time to bend your bracelet. To bend your bracelet, in the supplies list I had mentioned that you need a bracelet bender. I had mentioned Impress Art bracelet bender, and this is what it looks like. I purchased it at Hobby Lobby. It was about $12.99, and you can use the 40% off coupon. It comes with the bracelet bender, and it comes with a few of the 5/8 inch by 6 inch bracelet blanks. So you actually get a deal here. The bracelet bender is easy to use. We're going to go ahead and bend our bracelet, and I want to go ahead and mention again, I had mentioned that when you have your blanks, let's see if I can remove it so you can see it. Okay, each one of the blanks has this protective film. It's a thin blue film on both sides. This protects the metal from being scratched. This is what I was talking about in the beginning, that you need to remove the protective film from the side that you're going to engrave before you place it on your mat. The back protective film I will leave on here. Leave the protective film on as long as you can through the bending process. Leaving it on through the bending process will keep it from getting scratched up. After you bend it and you are finished with your bracelet, before you polish and shine it, then remove the protective film. If you're not planning on trying to darken in with any ink on your engraving and you're good to go, everything is smooth to the touch, you don't want to sell or give an engraved piece that is rough to touch, or it could cut you when you touch it. So please be sure, in whatever manner that you decide to smooth out your rough edges, please be sure to do so. I'm only trying to show you what is a cheaper option, what works, and what does not scratch your materials. And using these nail buffing blocks are very inexpensive and work extremely well. I use them every single time that I do any of my jewelry pieces, necklaces, keychains, bracelets, anything that I engrave on. I use these buffing blocks. They're very inexpensive and they do last a long time. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and bend this bracelet. So to bend the bracelet, what you do, you have this bar, and then you have a lip here that is bent up, and then you have the bending arm. You will take one end of your bracelet. You're going to have your design facing up. So the back of your bracelet will be at the back of your bender. Okay? So this is the back of your bracelet. This is the front. Okay? You're going to make sure that your bracelet blank is in, touching the bottom of your bracelet bender. You're going to put your thumb from one hand holding your bracelet bender and your bracelet blank together. Keep it sturdy. You're going to keep it sturdy like this in one hand. And with your other hand, you're going to come about midway and you're going to bend it. Bend it all the way down. To the bottom of the bracelet bender. Okay? Once you get there, you're going to take your bracelet blank out. You're going to go and do the same thing on the opposite end. You may need to adjust your grip and your pressure. Bend it all the way down. Pull it out. And here you have your cuff bracelet. You can adjust it by just simply squeezing it if you need to push it in or push it out. Other than polishing and shining this bracelet, we are done. Very simple. The possibilities are completely endless with these cuff bracelets. let's talk about the polishing of the bracelet. Okay, if you go to Walmart, in the shoe polish section, shoe polish applicator and shine cloth, it is a black apparatus and then a shine cloth. It was around $2, not a big deal at all. I don't need the black apparatus, so it'll just go in the trash. I got it for the shine cloth. That's just what I use. If you have jewelry shine cloth, polishing cloths, whatever you have will work. I'm just trying to show you the cheaper options. Okay? So, I will just start at one corner and just go through in a circular motion, holding the edges of the bracelet so that my fingerprints do not get onto the face of the bracelet. I will do the inside as well. The inside is not near as important as the outside. And I will go ahead and polish that up. Now we are completely done with our engraved cuff bracelet. Some of you have asked, have you tried to add ink or make the engraving darker or colored? I have done that. I've done that with black and I have done that with colored. Here in a sample 5/8 inch by 6 inch engraved bracelet, I had taken a purple Sharpie here. I'm not sure how well you can see that. A purple Sharpie here. I colored it in and wiped it out. Part of the M and the C. And then on the K and the Y, I did a black Sharpie and then wiped it out. And it worked perfectly. I had no problems with it. So the answer to that question is yes. You have to work in small sections and you have to work quickly in order to not stain your metal. So how I do that, I have the same purple Sharpie. I don't have a black one right in front of me. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'm going to color the E and the I. Just go over it real good a couple of times. Let it sit for about 5 seconds. And then I'll just have a regular, just paper towel. And then I'm going to go in a circular motion to remove any excess ink that was left over. And although it's not a dark, deep impression of the ink is still there and it is very visible. I will take up close pictures so that you can see this a little bit closer, just in case the video isn't capturing it for you like it should. But adding ink to the engraving is an option, and the only ink that I have tried are Sharpies. So you can use black Sharpies and you can use the colored Sharpies. Either one works great. I hope through this tutorial that you have learned another possibility with your Silhouette Cameo and a new tool that is available to you to use in your Silhouette Cameo. A cheaper option for engraving metal that works perfectly. Remember, the engraving tool is not only for metal bracelet blanks. It's also available to use for your, pendants and your little charms and, anything metal that is reasonable. These bracelet blanks are 14 gauge. I do recommend not to get anything thicker than a 14 gauge metal. Anything more than a 14 gauge metal doesn't seem to work from what I have tried. Those of you that already have the Comus Creations engraving tool, like I said, I will be doing a revision video. It'll just be a small snippet showing you what adjustments that you need to make with the engraving tool if you own a Cameo 3. If you own a Cameo 1 or 2, all you have to do is go ahead and insert your engraving tool and follow all the steps that I showed you here in the tutorial today. I hope you learned something new today, and I hope to see plenty of your creations. I would love to see your cuff bracelets that you make, metal charms or necklaces. Join us in our Facebook group, Our Crafty Chaotic Life. We're just getting started over there. Would love to see your creations and build a great crafting community. Don't forget to download your free bracelet template down in the description box below. I will leave the link to the font that I used in this tutorial Also, I will leave the link to where you could purchase the Silhouette Etching and Stippling Tool. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I hope you join me next time at the crafting table. Happy crafting!